The quiet rhythm of diplomatic ceremony returns to Tokyo. Inside the Prime Minister's official residence, known as the Kante, cameras are already in place, capturing the moment that marks the beginning of a new chapter in one of the world's most enduring alliances. The air carries a tone of anticipation, one part formal, one part personal. United States President Donald Trump and Japan's newly elected Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi step into the meeting room together. The flags of both nations, the stars and stripes and the red circle of the rising sun, stand side by side. As the two leaders take their seats, the symbolism is unmistakable. The world's largest economy and Asia's technological powerhouse are reaffirming a bond that has shaped the post-war order for nearly 8 decades. The conversation begins with courtesy, but quickly turns toward purpose. The global stage today is far different from when these two nations first signed their security treaty. The Indo-Pacific has become the defining arena of competition, not only military, but technological, economic, and ideological. China's expanding influence, the shifting trade balances, and the renewed contest for rare earth resources have all created a sense that the alliance must evolve. President Trump speaks first, leaning slightly forward as the cameras click. His words are direct, his tone confident. Anything I can do to help Japan, we will be there. We are an ally at the strongest level, and it's a great honor to be with you, especially so early in what will be, I think, one of the greatest prime ministers. The remark is brief but carries weight. It is both a reassurance and an endorsement, a signal that the White House sees Tokyo not just as a partner, but as an equal stakeholder in regional stability. Across the table, Prime Minister Takaichi listens attentively. For her, this moment is more than ceremonial. It's her first major bilateral appearance since taking office, and she knows the eyes of both domestic and international audiences are upon her. When she responds, her voice is measured, deliberate, and diplomatic. Through these efforts, together with you, Mr. President, I would like to realize a new golden age of the Japan-US alliance, where both Japan and the United States will become stronger and also more prosperous. Those words, a new golden age, echo through the room. They encapsulate Tokyo's ambition to redefine Japan's global role at a time when the rules of engagement in Asia are being rewritten. This meeting is taking place in a world more uncertain than ever. The global economy, though recovering from a series of crises, remains fractured along strategic lines. Supply chains have become tools of influence. Trade pacts have turned into geopolitical statements. For Japan, a nation dependent on energy imports and high-tech exports, its relationship with Washington is not just about defense, it's about survival, innovation, and leverage. President Trump's return to the world stage after a period of intense domestic focus has refocused attention on how his administration will navigate alliances. In the past, he had pressed allies for fairer burden sharing, questioning defense spending and trade balances. But today, his tone suggests something different, a recalibration of priorities in light of global shifts. Behind closed doors, advisors from both delegations are believed to have discussed a broad range of issues: semiconductor supply chains, defense technology sharing, and the growing tension over resource control. The two governments have already taken steps toward a major rare earth cooperation agreement aiming to reduce dependence on Chinese exports. Tokyo's industrial sector, heavily reliant on these materials for its electric vehicles and renewable energy production, sees Washington as an essential partner in securing future access. At the same time, the security aspect of the alliance remains paramount. Japan's recent defense reforms, including increased military spending and the adoption of counterstrike capabilities, mark one of the most significant strategic shifts since World War II. These reforms were controversial at home, but they align closely with Washington's long-standing call for Japan to play a more active regional role. In this setting, the symbolism of Trump's phrase, "ally at the strongest level," becomes more than rhetoric. It signals endorsement of Japan's new defense posture and hints at a shared vision of deterrence in the Indo-Pacific. Prime Minister Takaichi, Japan's first female leader, brings her own brand of political conviction. Known for her conservative stance on national security and economic autonomy, she represents a continuation of policies once advanced by former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, but with a new emphasis on technological sovereignty. Under her leadership, Japan is expected to expand investments in next-generation semiconductors, quantum computing, and defense innovation. Washington views this as a welcome move, aligning with US efforts to build a trusted tech network among allies. As the cameras roll, the meeting room exudes calm precision, a choreography of protocol that belies the deep strategic discussions beneath. Interpreters whisper softly as each side exchanges brief remarks. Folders are opened, notes passed discreetly, and subtle nods confirm understanding on matters not yet ready for public announcement. Outside, in Tokyo's Chiyoda ward, reporters wait for sound bites. Markets react in real time. The yen strengthens slightly against the dollar, reflecting investor optimism that a stable US-Japan partnership could bolster regional economic predictability. For both leaders, this meeting also carries political meaning. Trump's reaffirmation of alliance strength helps project stability abroad and confidence at home. For Takaichi, it is a defining moment, a chance to demonstrate statesmanship early in her tenure. Her reference to a golden age is not a casual phrase. It recalls Japan's diplomatic idealism of the 1980s, when economic power translated into soft global influence. Today, that influence is being recrafted. Japan seeks to balance its pacifist constitution with the realities of an unpredictable neighborhood. North Korean missile launches, rising Chinese naval activity near the Senkaku Islands, and questions about Taiwan's future. In this environment, a strong US alliance remains Japan's ultimate security guarantee. Behind the pleasantries, there is urgency. Both governments understand that the Indo-Pacific's balance of power is shifting faster than at any time since the Cold War. The United States is repositioning military assets, deepening coordination with allies like the Philippines and Australia. Japan, meanwhile, is fortifying its southwestern islands and reconfiguring its defense industry to co-produce weapons systems compatible with US forces. The meeting in Tokyo thus serves as both reassurance and declaration. Reassurance to allies that the partnership remains firm, and declaration to rivals that it will not be easily undermined. Observers note that Trump's remark about Takaichi being one of the greatest prime ministers also carries political intent. It reinforces Washington's approval of her leadership direction and strengthens her position domestically. For a leader who took office amid divided public opinion and economic pressure, such endorsement from the US president provides valuable diplomatic capital. In the hours following the meeting, both sides release carefully worded statements. The White House describes the talks as warm and productive, emphasizing mutual commitment to peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific. Japan's Cabinet Office echoes the sentiment, highlighting cooperation in defense technology, clean energy, and advanced manufacturing. But analysts know that the deeper story lies in what is not yet public. Negotiations are ongoing over joint ventures in defense equipment, cyber resilience frameworks, and the establishment of secure supply chain corridors connecting North America and East Asia. The meeting also touches on regional flashpoints, North Korea's nuclear program, South China Sea militarization, and the ongoing realignment of regional trade blocs. In this broader context, the Trump-Takaichi exchange is more than diplomatic routine. It is a strategic signal. It tells the world that despite shifts in leadership, the US-Japan alliance is not just enduring but evolving to meet a new era of global competition. As the day draws to a close, the images of the two leaders shaking hands, smiling briefly, and exchanging polite gestures dominate news broadcasts across Asia and the West. The coverage frames the event as a reaffirmation of unity, but for those inside the corridors of power, it is also the opening of a new phase of coordinated strategy. Japan's renewed assertiveness under Takaichi's leadership represents a subtle but unmistakable departure from the restrained diplomacy of her predecessors. Her willingness to speak of strength and prosperity together signals a leadership style that blends national pride with pragmatic cooperation. It is a message likely to resonate with Washington's vision of resilient partnerships among democracies. Meanwhile, in Washington, policymakers are preparing to translate these diplomatic signals into action. Upcoming meetings between defense ministers and technology secretaries will refine joint projects already in progress. The two nations are expected to announce a series of defence industrial partnerships by year's end, focusing on missile defence, satellite communication and artificial intelligence applications for military use. In both capitals, the tone is one of guarded optimism. Each side knows the alliance's strength has always been tested by both external threats and domestic pressures. Yet, through every shift, and from trade disputes to regional crises, it has adapted. The current moment is no exception. As evening settles over Tokyo, the Kantei stands illuminated, its glass facades reflecting the city lights. Inside, aides finalise communiques, draft statements and prepare the groundwork for follow-up meetings. The day's event will be remembered not for the brief photo opportunity, but for what it represents: a renewal of trust, a recognition of shared destiny, and a reminder that alliances endure not by habit, but by constant reaffirmation. President Trump's words still linger in the air. We are an ally at the strongest level. And Prime Minister Takaichi's response, a new golden age of the Japan-US alliance, defines the aspiration. Between those two sentences lies the blueprint of the coming decade, cooperation built on strength, guided by strategy, and defined by shared resolve. The cameras fade, the delegation vehicles pull away from the Kantei gates, yet the message sent from this meeting will travel far beyond Tokyo, across the Pacific, through the capitals of Asia, and into the global discourse about power, partnership, and the future of order in the Indo-Pacific. For both leaders, the day has been more than symbolic. It has been an act of reaffirmation, one that tells allies and adversaries alike that the axis of cooperation between Washington and Tokyo remains firm, ambitious, and ready for what comes next.